Okay, good evening everyone. Thanks ever so much for inviting me along. My name's Nick Clarke. I'm a scientist at Mimi Hearing Technologies and one of the co-founders. So there are 360 million people in the world with a debilitating hearing loss. This is a staggering proportion of the world's population. And unfortunately, just 1 in 40 of these people actually has any treatment for this. And there are a number of reasons. I mean, even in the developed world, it takes 10 years on average from the time that someone has the onset of hearing loss to when they actually can do something about it. The reasons for this are, one, the kind of discovery process. Hearing loss tends to come on slowly, and it's not normally the person that has the hearing loss that notices, but those around the person. They urge the person to go and see an audiologist, and when they finally overcome that hurdle, they go and have their hearing tested, and if they finally decide to get a hearing aid, they have this back and forth process for months to try and get the thing optimized because they can't control the settings themselves. Then there's a really prohibitive cost. The devices cost upwards of $1,000 per ear to have fitted, mainly because of the distribution problems. And finally, there's the stigma. Hearing aids are associated with elderly people, and it's quite a barrier for like younger people to try and actually put on a hearing aid for the benefit. So what we do at Mimi is try and smash down some of these barriers. First of all, we offer a hearing test. It is the most advanced hearing test on a phone app. It has great test-retest reliability. This is available now. You can go to the Mimi website, download it, try it out. Then we can actually simulate hearing aid processing on the phone, so you can try out what real-time sound enhancement sounds like. And then if this gives you real benefit, we can then upgrade with a nice seamless way to hardware that's suitable for your specific needs. So the smartphone has all the necessary components to make a hearing aid. It has a microphone, you have intense amounts of processing power on board the phone, and you also have a headphone amplifier in the jack. And therefore you can replicate all of the processing that happens on a conventional hearing aid on the smartphone. We have a very simple UI on top of this that allows the user to select from a number of presets. So you have one axis where you can select presets and you change the shape of the gain profile. This is like the kind of settings you'd have in an app like Spotify or iTunes. And then you have the other axis that controls the amount of compression applied to each preset. So hearing impairment's not like visual impairment where you can just kind of make a correction and fix it. You can't just apply gain. If someone can't hear sounds above 2 kilohertz, you can't just apply the right amount of gain and make everything better. And this is because people, hearing impaired listeners tend to have a similar maximum ceiling of a pain threshold similar to that of a normal hearing listener. So you have to condense the entire dynamic range into a smaller space. And to do this, you have to be quite clever about the way you do this because the speech information is conveyed by the modulations in amplitude. And you have to be careful not to destroy them. So we have a number of presets in the app. And these aren't just pulled out of a hat. There was a project I did a couple of years ago where we made an iPhone app that came out of a research laboratory in the UK. And we've been sort of tracking the usage of these presets for some time now. And then the presets that we have in the Mimi version are the kind of the most relevant, most common ones that people like. So we then have this functional mobile phone-based hearing aid. And we don't leave the people there, so we've dropped the barrier to entry. But then if they do decide to move on to another piece of hardware, we can continually collect data about how they tune the hearing aid and how they tune the app settings. And we can find users that are similar to those users and recommend settings that are similar to them. And we can also correlate this with the hearing test data that they have so that we can help them find the best possible value out of their hearing devices possible. And in a nutshell, that's us. So hop over to mimi.io. Check us out, download the app, please sign up, test your hearing, even if it's normal, you might learn something. Thanks.
So I guess if it's really good, then people will want to use it 24 hours a day. So I guess the most important question is, what's the battery drain? Is it going to last them 4 hours, 6 hours?
It's about 7 hours. At the moment. Well, it was on the iPhone 4S, so maybe a bit better now. But it's still pretty processor intensive. You have to build the thing in release for it to even stop choking on the.
And this is on which platform, sorry?
iOS at the moment. It's the only thing that we can get down to the sort of required latency. So the round-trip audio latency on iOS, you can drill down to about 5 milliseconds. Android's getting better, but it's still up about 50. So we're probably going to migrate our test to Android sooner, but still hold off on the real-time hearing aid processing for a while until that's kind of fixed up a little bit better.
Great, sounds great.
Yeah, so we have a test app, but we decided to sort of show this alpha of the current Mimi aid. So as I was saying, you have this on this x-axis, you have like different shapes of gain profile, and then on the other dimension, you have the kind of level of compression. You kind of have to really listen to this to hear what it's doing. You're able to adjust the background noise level through a noise gate control. There are 2 screens of settings. There's only 18 settings in this particular version, but we have about 150 degrees of freedom in the hearing aid in the hearing aid preset profile. So there's a lot of ways we can change it. If you're interested in help on a particular profile, you can click on one, and there's a bit of educational information about this. This is machine generated from like analyzing the preset data, and then it sort of generates some text to tell you about it. And this allows us to sort of dynamically change the presets that we put in for different users kind of seamlessly in the background. You can also change the microphone selection. If you want to keep the phone in your pocket, you can use a headset microphone. If you want to use it in a meeting and you want to place the phone close to someone to get good signal to noise ratio, you can put it onto the onboard microphone mode. It remembers your volume settings, so wherever you left off last time, it forces you to set it back so you don't get any nasty surprises. So it looks simple on top, but it's all about the sort of the depth underneath. Cool.
How does the application deal with voice-enabled or other?
Oh, sorry. Hey.
How does the application deal with other voice-enabled applications running alongside it?
It doesn't. So at the moment, it just completely hogs the whole audio stream. So you have to use it as that device. But I mean, it's free rather than going and spending $1,000 on a hearing aid.
So Siri is no longer your friend.
Yeah, no.
My question concerned, I'm running some kind of tinnitus thing in the same field,
Okay.
and what I was having issues is the accuracy of the dimension in higher frequency and lower frequency of the device itself. So you're targeting then specific, if you need to have 15,000 K hertz upper end and you play that tone, is it that really that far, and how bad or this issue might concern your application up to the point that you really use hardware devices?
Oh, okay. Are you talking about like clock jitter that throws off the frequencies that come in?
No, just that the audio player is not really accurate in the higher end dimensions.
Okay, this at the moment it's just optimized for speech signals. So we're only sort of we're only running it up to about 12 kilohertz at the moment. So it's completely well below that. I mean, we're running it at 44.1K and then decimating it down to kind of get rid of some of the processing overhead, but we're going nowhere near up the top end.
So you're safe then. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right, one more question.
Hey.
So I use hearing aids myself, and I think I tried out a similar app at some point.
Okay.
Don't think it was yours, unless there was a major overhaul. And the problem I had, so it's brilliant that you guys do this, because this is an area that definitely needs some, some improvements. But the problem I had was that simply there was not enough amplification on some frequencies. I was wondering whether that was, due to that app, due to some hard lock that Apple enforces.
Okay.
Do you guys ever get that feedback? Do you actually manage to amplify enough for all ranges?
Yeah, well, our product owner is actually a hearing-impaired hearing aid user, and he has quite a severe hearing loss, and we can't quite give him enough. I mean, he can certainly hear much better with it, so we're just sort of targeting the mild to moderate hearing-impaired users with this app at the moment, and they're the ones that we can actually sell these personal sound amplifier products. If we can detect in the test if they have a higher level of hearing loss, and then we can divert them somewhere else where they can be helped more effectively if they have this kind of loss.
All right, thank you so much for bearing with us with this super tech stuff. Thanks so much.
Cheers, thanks.